Welcome, everyone. Pull up a chair, get comfortable. I'm really glad you joined me for this explainer today. You know, looking back on my decades as a financial mentor, now happily retired, of course, I've had the absolute privilege of sitting across the desk from thousands of folks. I've watched fortunes rise and, well, unfortunately, I've watched a lot of fortunes fall too. People are constantly asking me for this secret, magical mathematical formula to getting rich, but what I always tell them, and what we're really going to dig into today, is that true financial freedom, it doesn't start in a spreadsheet. It starts right here, in your head. We're going to look at the architecture of the wealthy mind, and I promise you, what you're about to see is going to completely change how you view your own bank account.
Okay, let's dive into this, because this is literally the ultimate financial riddle, and I've seen this exact scenario play out time and time again in my office. Imagine two people sitting side by side. Both of them earn exactly $100,000 a year. They have the exact same opportunities, the same economic climate, the exact same income. Yet, 10 years down the road, we look at their lives and the outcomes are just entirely opposite. One of them is completely financially free, sleeping soundly at night. The other? Drowning in a sea of debt, stress to the max, anxious all the time. So how is that even possible? Well, it's because wealth is never created just by your paycheck. People with the right mindset make money, sure, but money itself doesn't make people rich.
I want you to just pause for a second and let these words really sink in. Money doesn't change people. It reveals people. It's honestly one of the most profound truths you'll ever learn. There's this massive misconception out there that if you just, hand someone a giant sum of money, all their problems are just going to vanish and they'll magically become a responsible, wealthy person. But money is just a magnifying glass. If someone is careless with $100, they are going to be disastrously careless with $100,000. If you're constantly blaming others for your financial stress right now, adding more zeros to your account won't magically make you responsible. This is exactly why we constantly read those tragic stories of lottery winners who end up completely broke just a few years after striking it rich. It wasn't the amount of money that failed them, it was the mindset behind it.
So let's look at our first major concept here, scarcity versus abundance.
Picture this. You're walking down a grocery aisle and you spot a simple notebook for $10. How your brain reacts to that price tag. It actually tells me everything about your financial future. The scarcity mindset immediately recoils. It hyper-focuses on limitations, thinking, I can't afford that. And over time, this becomes incredibly dangerous because you stop taking opportunities, you get terrified of investing, and you end up trapped in a very, very small comfort zone. But the abundance mindset, it looks at that exact same notebook and asks, how can this help me earn 10 times more? See, the wealthy look at books, courses, skills, not as draining costs, but as absolutely crucial investments capable of generating massive future returns. They think completely differently before they ever even spend a dime.
Which brings us to our next point, escaping the pleasure trap.
Look, our brains are literally hardwired to chase short-term rewards. The ping of a notification, a quick online purchase, that shiny new luxury gadget. This addiction to immediate pleasure traps so many high-income earners in what we call lifestyle inflation. And this brilliantly illustrates why so many stay stuck. As their income goes up, well, their taste in cars and restaurants goes up right along with it. They aren't actually buying freedom with their new wealth. They're just buying bigger, more expensive bills. They end up trading the ultimate prize of financial independence for the temporary thrill of a luxury car payment. Now, this battle between now and later definitely isn't new. Back in the 1960s, researchers conducted this famous, deeply revealing test with kids called the marshmallow experiment. A kid was placed in a room with one marshmallow and told, hey, you can eat this right now, or if you wait just a little while until I come back, I'll give you two. Some kids just couldn't resist and devoured it immediately. But others agonizingly sat on their hands, squeezed their eyes shut, and waited. When researchers followed up years later, those kids who sacrificed today's comfort and delayed their gratification, they had achieved far greater financial success. Wealth is quite literally built through delayed rewards.
Consider this profound truth for a moment. Real wealth starts when your identity changes before your income does. Your brain's primary job is to prove your internal beliefs right. So if you walk around secretly believing, man, I'm just terrible with money, your brain will make sure you make terrible financial decisions just to prove that statement true. But the moment you actively adopt the identity of a wealth builder, the second you say to yourself, I am someone who builds wealth, everything changes. You begin saving automatically. You start thinking in decades instead of days.
And honestly, I know how incredibly difficult that is today. Just look around us. Our world aggressively, relentlessly rewards speed. Fast food, fast internet,
same-day delivery right to your front door, instant entertainment at the push of a button. We are constantly conditioned to want it, demand it, and get it right now, this very second.
But wealth grows slowly. It is the exact opposite of our modern world. Money, enduring businesses, high-income skills, they all take years of patient, repeated, small actions to truly compound. Most folks quit building wealth because they expect the stock market to act like a microwave. But the truly wealthy understand that patience isn't a weakness, it's a profound financial superpower.
Because when you have patience, you master your emotions. Imagine the stock market suddenly plummets by 20%. The amateur panics. They sell everything at a massive loss and vow never to invest again out of sheer terror. But the experienced investor? They remain perfectly calm. It's not that they don't feel the sting of the drop. I mean, they're human after all. But they absolutely refuse to let temporary emotions dictate their financial decisions. They know markets recover, fear vanishes, and the rational mind is what ultimately builds a fortune.
Let's move on to Section 3, from consumer to owner.
Let's see how this builds, because there is a monumental dividing line between the working class and the wealthy, and it's this: the shift from buying products to owning them. When you simply buy a morning cup of coffee, you're acting as a consumer. That money leaves your wallet forever. But when you own a piece of the coffee company, through stocks for example, you're building a system where that money can actually come back to you. Owners don't just trade their precious time for dollars. They acquire assets, real estate, stocks, intellectual property. Their psychology has fundamentally shifted from consuming to owning.
The absolute greatest trap stopping people from becoming owners today is the invisible competition of social media. You see someone showing off a luxury watch or a brand new car, and suddenly your perfectly good life feels kind of inadequate. This comparison is literal financial poison. While everyone else is out there loudly chasing status and buying things to impress strangers, the truly wealthy are quietly, almost invisibly, accumulating assets behind the scenes.
And finally, let's look at the ultimate wealth formula.
So the crucial point is, let's strip away all the myths of blind luck and raw intelligence and look at the actual math of this mindset. Wealth equals your income, plus your discipline to save it, plus the patience to let it grow, plus consistent investing, minus your emotional decisions. Do you see how delicate this is? If you have high income, great discipline, and consistent investing, but you panic and make terrible emotional decisions during a market crash, the entire equation falls apart. If you miss even one positive variable, the math just doesn't work. It takes the whole psychological package.
Which leaves us right here. Your bank account today is really just a lagging reflection of your past habits. And those habits, they're just a reflection of your psychology. True financial freedom is never built overnight. It's built one rational, disciplined choice at a time. So as we wrap up our chat today, I don't care how much money is in your wallet right at this very moment. The only question that truly matters, the one I want you to carry with you as you leave this explainer, is this: do you have the mindset that can build wealth tomorrow? If the answer is yes, then your journey to financial freedom has already begun. Thank you so much for joining me today, and keep building that wealthy mind.